What is happening, YouTube? It's your boy, your antidote. I know it's been a while since I've been uploading at all. I know I said in my last video, if you checked it out, that I would be uploading at least 2 more videos before I went on this break. Unfortunately, I'm gonna keep it real with you, it didn't happen. If you did watch the other video, you would have remembered that I mentioned going through a pretty tough time. I still am at the moment. It's not as tough. I have had the opportunity to kind of accept what has happened. Maybe you're going through something similar and this will help you out. I don't know. I'm just trying to have a conversation and unpack my thoughts around what happened. Plain and simple. I was dumped. I love her. I still do. It hasn't been long since we've split, and I also don't think I will ever stop loving her. Kind of caught me off guard because in my mind I thought everything was great, like better than great. I thought, we were going to go the distance and kind of settle down essentially. But unfortunately, like, things happen and there's not much I could have done, even though at the time I did think that I could have changed the outcome of this unfortunate event. I'm just going to be having a conversation with you guys, and you guys can listen, you guys can watch the gameplay, whatever. But it's a nice way for me to kind of journal and just put my thoughts into something tangible. If nobody watches this, at least I can go back and watch it and make sense of things. So that was like 5 weeks ago. It was tough. I will say it was probably the worst thing I've ever had to experience. I've experienced heartbreak before, like I've been dumped before, but not to this degree, not with the mindset of that I had in the relationship. Like, I was completely blindsided, and we have not spoken since. Like, not a single word has been said from her. I've said some words during the breakup. While she was breaking up with me, I didn't really get much of anything to say. It was kind of just, she wanted to get what she was feeling out the way, and that was that. And that's the last I heard from her. So after, I think, maybe 2 weeks, when I'd kind of, come down essentially from the fight or flight state that I had been in, or complete shock and surprise, I did send her a message, essentially just saying goodbye, because at that point I had accepted that she's not coming back. Because up until this point, or up until at least probably last week, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, probably until last week, I was under the impression that she would come back, whatever. If any of you have ever gone through heartbreak, you would know it's a really shit time, especially when you genuinely wanted something to work. And I started bargaining, like the same way people do with grief when someone passes away. I'm mourning someone that's still alive. I'm grieving someone that still exists and is still alive to this day. She's essentially like erased herself from my timeline and done the same with me in her timeline. I don't exist in her life anymore. But it's a humbling experience. Let me just say that. It went from talking every day to hanging out every day or very often and whatever to gone. I was questioning, like, was she real? Was this relationship real? Did any of this happen? Was it all in my mind? Like, I needed people to kind of like validate this because of how quickly she had just vanished and continues to stay vanished as we speak. So I'm being very honest here, and in no way am I trying to slander her, and I will not. I love her, I respect her, I question her decisions, of course, but I'm human, and I was caught off guard and did not have time to kind of prepare for it. Dude, I've experienced pain. I've experienced all kinds of bullshit in my life. This is something that I've never felt to this degree and never had to deal with this way. I love numbing things. I love to just not feel any unfavorable emotion, because I don't believe there's such a thing as a negative emotion, but discomfort, no one likes that, and it's very natural to want to kind of escape from that. what I realized during this time is that it's everything to do with her, but it's not her herself. Like, her as a person, it really has nothing to do with that. It's what the way in which she left brought up for me, in terms of trauma or learned behavior and patterns, right? I have a big feeling of inadequacy and abandonment, right? So when people reject me, it is the end of the world, especially when it's someone that I've placed my worth, or I let my worth be judged by them. That is my first mistake, and maybe some of you guys do this as well. Like, your worth cannot be determined by any external forces. You are worthy, I am worthy always. What I do, what I don't do, what I can't do, none of that determines my worth. And none of that determines your worth. But it did bring up feelings of fears of abandonment and rejection. I hate being rejected. It is a bit of an arrogance thing as well, because I'm not used to being rejected. Like, maybe when I was younger and, I don't know, did not do work on myself physically, mentally, and whatever. Like, I got rejected a few times, and I've been rejected in my adult life, but not to this extent. I think what hurt the most for me is that it was from someone I never expected to reject me. It was a bit of a wake-up call as well, and a very necessary wake-up call. Painful, but necessary, because when I look back at where I was 5 weeks ago, there was a huge sense of complacency in my demeanor, right? Because I had not faced hardship at that point in a long time. My life had been very smooth sailing, easy, soft, whatever you want to call it. Fortunate. I'm very fortunate to be where I am right now. It wasn't always this way, and I had to do a lot of things that I'm not proud of, and had to, I've been through some things that are hurtful and can do some serious damage to one's own sense of self, right? But I've worked through those things, and I'm still working through some things, clearly, because this breakup has now brought up wounds that I thought I had buried or gotten rid of, or I didn't know that they were there, right? That's a big deal when someone you love and someone you care about kind of triggers a trauma response, or an anxious attachment, because that's what I'm trying to get at right now, is like attachment styles, and this played out very it was very apparent in my relationship. And I can't speak for her, because obviously she's not here, and we didn't really speak about it in depth with one another. We did bring it up once or twice. At the time, I was not aware of how important it is to actually work on your attachment styles, because they will run rampant in all your relationships, but mostly like romantic relationships, because those tend to hold a lot more weight and are a lot more not like easily disposed of, but they are something that holds an immense amount of weight and power in your life, and they are also something that can end like very abruptly, as I've experienced. Your family, you can experience it in your family, and that's where it starts, but your family's kind of, it holds a different weight in your life, and it doesn't fill the same kind of space that a romantic relationship does, right? So it's dangerous. It's not going to kill you, it's not going to kill you itself, but it's going to hurt, and it's going to cause some damage. Also, I hope if you're not looking at me and you're watching the gameplay, I hope you're enjoying the gameplay. I did think about doing some commentary over it, but you guys can tell me if that's what you want, and I should just like shut the fuck up with all the deep, meaningful stuff. That's cool too. But this is not about her. This is about me, essentially. That's something I'm trying to learn to do. It's very difficult. Like I said, a lot of my worth is placed in external things, not just people. This flipping game as well, like not anymore. Like that is also something I'm going to talk about maybe a bit later. But yeah, external validation is dopamine, and affirmations are my thing, dude. I love that shit. It feels so good. I could have endless amounts of it and never get tired of it. Something I also want to make known and apparent is that it's not her leaving that like fucked me up, dude. I'm gonna be real with you, like it fucked me up. It's not her leaving, right? Everyone is entitled to want to leave anything that they do not feel serves them anymore. I will maybe ask you to not do that and we can work through it, but I'll never force you to stay. Well, I thought I would never beg, but I kind of did. It was very embarrassing. But I was just kind of caught off guard and in shock. And, you know, she was my world. So it's the way in which she did it, and it's what she is continuing to do afterwards. And that is just ignore, not even ignore, not acknowledge, not like I don't exist in her world, which to me is like, bro, how can you do that? What do you tell people? Like, what did you tell your family? That's something that wrecked my brain for a long time during this period. It's like, what did you tell your fam? I'll never know. I did reach out to very important people. Like, her entire family is important, but I had formed specific relationships with specific individuals in her family more than others, and I grew to love them and form relationships with them. So I did reach out to some of them, and I got replies from some, and I got no replies from some, and that's fine. Like, I expected no reply from anybody because it's her family. I get that. I would expect my family to do the exact same thing if she did reach out, which she didn't, which was also strange because she had also formed a close relationship with someone that's very important to me, which is my mom. My mom is one of the most important people in my life, and this person had become closer to my mom as well. And there was no respect or nothing kind of shown to honor that relationship. So, you know, naturally thoughts of being played for like longer than a year, because her and I had been seeing each other long before we actually became official. Like, if you look at a year, it's not the craziest thing in a span of life itself, right? A year is not that long. A year is enough time to kind of form something meaningful and form a bond with someone and attach yourself to someone, right? Especially at the intensity that her and I did, and what we shared and what we kind of had to go through in the beginning of the relationship in order to make it work, and how we made it work, and how we conflict resolution. Everything was like perfect in the beginning, and towards the end. Actually, I always tell people everything was good and normal right up until breakup message. That's when everything went pear-shaped, and I kind of like saw a very not different side of her, and I'll get to that in a minute. With attachment, right? This is also a disclaimer. I'm not certified doctor, psychologist, or financial advisor, right? This is all learned experience, and it's just me having a conversation. So do not take any of what I'm saying as professional medical advice. I'm just some dude with a microphone and stories to tell. So, anxious attachment is my thing. You get secure attachment and you get insecure attachment. Secure attachment, I think, exists. I'm sure there are people that are actually secure. Maybe some of you are. Maybe you can, let us know. But for the most part, for all of it, I've only met people who have insecure attachment types. Or there's a few types. Well, there's two categories, and stuff falls underneath them. But we're not going to get too much into that because this is not like a lecture. It's just whatever. So I'm anxiously attached. That means anxiety, anxious and avoid. So that's what she is. I think she is. I don't know if that's what she is. I assume that's what she is. There are certain things that tell me that is what it is, and she admitted it at one point. They both crave the same thing: intimacy, connection, love. Like most people do, unless you're like some kind of sociopath. You crave love. You want affection. You want to be validated and accepted, and whatever. It's human nature. We're social creatures. We need each other in order to survive. We need companionship. However, we express this need for connection differently, and we are triggered differently, right? It's almost the opposite sides of the same coin. I pull in closer when I'm feeling insecure, or I'm feeling anxious, or I'm feeling like you are pulling away. I pull in closer, and that can be annoying, or it can be a lot. It can be a lot. And anxious attachment is also crap to have and to deal with for different reasons, especially for someone who is avoidant, right? So it's in like the name, avoidant attachment. You run away from things, you stress things. There were signs from the beginning of the relationship, before it even started, that this is what I was getting myself into. There were times where I even got upset over certain things that, avoidant tendencies that brought up anxiety for me a lot of the time. And we would touch on it, but it would never like materialize into anything. And essentially what happened is that when I like to chase people, it makes me feel good, and it makes me feel worthy that I prove to you that I am worth your time. And she would kind of just disappear, wouldn't hear from her for a couple of days, and then she'd pop back up again, like as if nothing happened or whatever. So that was very frustrating, and trying to bring it up was also very hard, because I would also come from a place of irritation, anger, trauma, which I wasn't aware of at the time, so it didn't go well. But eventually there came a point where I got the girl, and I was like over the moon, and it seemed that she was that way as well, and our relationship flourished. It is the best relationship I've ever experienced in my life. Like, if anything, this has taught me that I can love deeply with everything that I have, right? I can love unconditionally. That is what is crucial for me in this, is that I love her unconditionally. So to me, that is despite. I love her despite everything, despite how she ended things, despite all the issues that we had in our relationship. Everybody has problems, but I was willing to stay and fight for the relationship. I was willing to stay regardless of whether she was a certain way. I tried to accept and be compassionate for her, because we all have baggage that we carry from circumstances and scenarios that were sometimes not even our fault, so I can never make someone feel crap and feel worthless because of things that happen to them that they cannot control. Yes, there are certain things that happen to us that we are fully in control of. But some of my issues come from choices that I made, right? It doesn't make it right, nor does it make it right for someone to treat you badly because of things that have happened to them. Yes, you don't get to choose your trauma, you don't get to choose your upbringing, you don't get to choose your parents, but you do get to choose what you do with that. You do get to choose what you do with the damage. It's a sad reality, but it's almost abnormal to meet someone who has not experienced something traumatic in their life, especially growing up. That is abnormal, not having trauma. Like, everybody's been through some trauma, right? And trauma is trauma. There's no such thing as yours is more traumatic than mine. It's all subjective. Everything is subjective. This is your personal experience, life. This is a series of experiences kind of just put together to form your perception. I did a lot of research into anxious attachment and avoidant and secure and all of those things, because it's also a genuine interest of mine. Psychology as a whole is something that I study and engage with every single day. So it also helps with my broadening my knowledge on the matter. I almost wish that I picked up on this sooner, because that is the control freak or the anxious in me that says I could have controlled this outcome. And I think another big takeaway from all of this is that I'm learning to accept the things that I can't change, right? Things are going to happen to you, and there are certain things you can't control. And one of those things is people. You can't control people. And as much as you think you can, as much as you feel it's the right thing to do to convince someone, or try to convince someone that the decision that they have made on their own, might I add, this decision for her to leave was done, I think months before she actually told me. So she had had time to grieve and feel sad, or not at all, because another kind of trait of someone who has an avoidance attachment style is that there's a lot of compartmentalization, like putting things into boxes and putting them away to not have to deal with that pain, you know. But the thing is that she had, this decision was in the making long before she told me, and she can kind of suppress the pain that comes from a breakup, and get on with life, and needs to get on with life in order to distract and, you know, just not have to focus on the damage or pain that they've caused. I'm gonna keep it a bean with y'all. She has caused a lot of pain for me and for herself, I'm sure. Like, it's very easy to kind of tell yourself that these people don't care about me and they never love me, because if they did, they wouldn't have done this. But it doesn't work that way. It has nothing to do with my worth or how worthy I am of receiving love. It has everything to do with their limitations and what they are able to do. It's unfortunate that, like, I got hurt as a result of her own inadequacies and her own demons, the things that she can't deal with or is still dealing with. I'm not sure. Avoidant people are able to kind of numb things and just get on with life as if it didn't happen. That is not the solution. Do not ever think that that is what you need to do in order to move past something that is difficult. Yes, it feels there's relief in it, and you might not have to deal with the emotions then and there. I promise you, this is a promise, it will catch you eventually. Whether it's a month from now, and I'm not saying her, I'm saying anybody who avoid things and pain and not want to deal with it in real time, it will catch you. Your shadows, your demons do not just disappear if you act like they aren't there. They follow you everywhere you go until you decide to face them. That is the key. You need to be able to face them and fucking tell them, like, yay, fulltech, why up, and this is why I'm telling you to fulltech. It's happened with me, my anxious attachment as well, like what I do, and it's also kind of avoidant, I suppose. That's a whole different story for like a different video. I would jump from relationship, girl to girl to girl to girl to girl. Very difficult and can cause a lot of harm, but you know, they're awesome. So I would jump from relationship to relationship to relationship so that I wouldn't have to deal with myself and need validation from external sources. So when that is taken away from me, I go into panic mode. It followed me, and the patterns play out the exact same way. Obviously there are nuances to it because everyone's different, but you're essentially, you have the same problem with just a different face. It's the same problem with just a different face. She is going to have the same problems with someone else, you know. And the reality of growth just in life and experiences and things like that, real growth can only happen if the adversity in your life is too much to run away from. That is when growth happens. When you have no other choice but to grow, so you sink or you swim. That is when true growth, the intrinsic desire to improve comes about. I do not want to run from the feelings that this is bringing up. I have to face it eventually, because into another relationship, or I hook up with a bunch of girls and then I do get into a relationship eventually, I'm going to carry even more of my wounds into that relationship because of what this has done to me. And then I'm gonna ruin shit for someone else, dude. And then it's just a cycle of poo. You don't want to do that. Like, it's freeing. It sucks that this is what it takes. There are other things in life that suck, that will force you to look at yourself, because relationships and real committed, loving relationships you guys are each other's mirrors. And I think this is where I'm going to kind of leave it, right? Because I've been talking for a while. Yeah. You are a mirror to your partner, to your wife, to whoever. And you hold You hold each other accountable. You hold up mirrors to one another to show each other things that you do not see without it. And it's always things that you do not want to see, or you do not know. So it's unfavorable things, but there are things that need to be revealed in order for you to grow and become the person that you're always meant to be. You know, that is the nature of love. Love is not gushy. Love is gushy, but love is not only gushy. Love is not only the romance. Love is not only the I love yous and the intimacy and the physical nice stuff, you know. Love is the crap. Love is dealing with that person. You're dealing with that person's wounds every single day, and you're dealing with what they had to deal with in other relationships. So you're taking on the stuff that they bring from other relationships, whether it's romantic, family. Family is a big fucking one, dude. Your caregivers, man. You learn to forgive. That is also what I'm learning. I had to, after this breakup, I had to look at things that I didn't want to look at. And I'm still looking at things that I don't want to look at. And I'm still finding things out about myself that I brushed past. In the bigger picture, this was the greatest gift that she could have given me, you know, and which is myself. I'm learning to be whole and one with myself, which is a big deal for me. Still a bit of, you know, sadness and maybe even anger towards her, but I love her and I understand why she did it. I still don't understand why she did it the way that she did. I probably never will. I can't wait for that, right? I also need to get on with my life. This is me trying to do that. I hope you got something from it. I enjoyed speaking about it. It helps a lot. My message to you guys is that if you're going through something, if you are struggling, if you are unsure, you need to reach out. On this game and shit is not where you're gonna find that solace. You're not alone if you're struggling with things in life. This is not only pertaining to heartbreak. It's just heartbreak. We all face adversity in different forms. My adversity recently has been this heartbreak. But every problem is an opportunity to grow. If it's not putting you in a place where you cannot function, there is an opportunity to grow. If there's anything you take from this video that I'm learning and I'm practicing, is that instead of me saying, why is this happening to me? Because that is something I would say a lot. Why did she do this to me? Why is this happening to me? Blah, blah, blah. What can I learn from this? What is this trying to teach me? And just kind of reframing that perspective in a way that is not wallowing in the shit, because it's very easy to wallow. I understand, man. Growth is difficult. That's why a lot of people don't do it, because it will ask everything of you to become better. I feel better. I feel like wiser, and I feel secure in myself, or I'm at least getting there. Like, my life is still going on without her. At the time I felt, oh, my life's over, like shit, you know. It really hurts, man. Holy crap, like I was in the poo. But I realized, like, oh shit, I woke up today, I woke up the next day, you know, and I can still do things. I'm still Kyle. If anything, I'm a better version of myself than I was 5 weeks ago. Yes, I have wounds and I'm guarded, very guarded at the moment, but me talking to you guys is me trying to use that as a means to do something good. If you take anything from this, then I've done my job. So I hope that you got something from it. Everyone, every single one of you, we are all worthy of love. We are all worthy of connection. The right person will never make you feel that you need to perform or behave a certain way to receive that love. Okay? Love yourselves. And this channel is not only MK anymore. Let's be real, kind of dying. The game's dying, at least in Africa, right? T1000, poo, boring, whatever. So I'll still post some Mortal Kombat, but I like a lot of things. I like a lot of games. I'm going to be posting a lot of different games. I'm going to be posting maybe some gym content. I enjoy fitness. I know a lot of you guys do too. If you're interested in that, you know, let's talk about it. So, peace.